Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, where we have finally wrenched ourselves free of the wreckage of Urak 5, and there's so many things we want to do. But before we go sailing anywhere else, is there a way for me to just jump to the bridge? Yeah, here we go. Because, what's-her-face? The Sister of Battle wanted to talk to me about something, right? We should probably, actually do that. Also, she seemed remarkably sympathetic to the plight of the child, which is exactly the sort of thing you would expect someone like her to be all like, we gotta kill it about. So that, I have some questions about that too. I think it would really be for the best if we had a conversation with her. If I can figure out where she's at. Jocasta Sourback. Who are you? You have a name, but I don't know you. Jocasta Sourback is the very picture of discipline. Her uniform is exquisitely pressed, her armor is polished, and her posture is imposing and rigid. The only flaw in her immaculate appearance is the heavy enforcer's maul, which is worn and battered from frequent use. She salutes you with a practiced motion. That doesn't sound like a flaw to me. You're wearing Imperial Navy armor. I want to know what you are. Yeah, I want to know more about your service. What's your deal? Oh, she's our Master at Arms. Okay. What are your duties exactly? I'm responsible for upholding safety and order aboard the ship, guard duties, patrols, finding and punishing troublemakers. In addition, my enforcers ensure the crew follow all directives and carry out their tasks properly. As they say in my family, a servant who shows disobedience today prepares a riot tomorrow. Terrible. Okay. I was just curious who you were, because I forgot. I forgot the name of my Master at Arms, apparently. So, Abelard's there. Here's my high factotum. She was supposed to be standing somewhere around the bridge, right? There's Idira. It is kind of a large area. Okay, she's not around this edge. I don't think I looked all the way to this upper corner, but yeah, she's not over here either. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she was supposed to be somewhere else. I guess, yeah, it doesn't actually say technically that she's on the bridge. Can I mark this as my, I don't know where she would be, but I would like to speak to her. I certainly don't want to just wander around the bridge arbitrarily. I guess let's go talk to Idira, because I think I remember Idira saying something too, right? The tall, middle-aged woman stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant, as she rubs the implant at her temple. Her collar is undone, and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, Idira turns her head toward you and offers you a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you. You know, I would like to hear your augury, Idira. What awaits me in the future?
All right, let's hear what they're whispering about you.
It's weird what's voiced and what's not. Idira laughs, rubs her hands together, and suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face, her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begins to waver ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Among the blind men and false prophets, a red-robed sage seeks the answer to a question. He does not know that it is not the answer he must seek, but the question that will draw everything into focus. Will you help him, Rogue Trader? But mark that sometimes ignorance is sweeter than oblivion.
Okay. Red-robed sage.
A chained hound chases after glimmers of the aurora, but sparks in the scent of oil confound his nose. A chain trails after him. What will happen if you pick it up? Will you become his mistress, or merely another beast in the pack of his true lord? The glow of dawn bursts forth from its prison. Dungeon walls cannot contain the dark essence wallowing in the dust. A naive cub pushes his nose into a familiar hand, one that holds death in twisted glass. cherish it or cast it off as a burden. The sword of change has already been raised. What is one more life to it?
I mean, I'm a lot less worried about the sword of change than I am about the sort of things remaining the way they are, which seems to claim an awful lot of lives on the extreme regular.
I'm sorry, Lord Captain. The voices are going wild. I can't make out a thing. I'll try to rein them in, somehow. But for now...
The Psyker shrugs sheepishly and sniffs. Yeah, no, I understand. Things are strained between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices. Ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Okay, I mean, like, there's a lot of obvious reasons for a Sister of Battle and a Psyker of any kind not to get along. I must take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
I wonder, okay, is there... If I walk off the bridge... I wonder if I have, like, the option of selecting people's quarters, or... I would like to find... Oh, she might be at the chapel. That seems... I wonder if I could just... Yeah, just everybody come with me. Maybe we shouldn't be going to the astropathic chapel. I said I wonder if she's at the chapel, but this is where the navigator is, and that's not necessarily where we want to be.
They're staring at me with their bird eyes like I'm a leper. I'm just passing through, all right? So you lots can calm down.
Once I saw this, though, I realized it's a good idea to probably spend the rank we got on Cassia. So what's Cassia's basic deal? Unknown origin, unknown homeworld, origin navigator. She's got voice of command and bring it down, so she's an officer. She's got her lidless stare, which obviously is very good. Largely dogmatic, which kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, whenever the officer targets an ally with an ability for the first time in a round, the ally gains +5 temporary wounds, which is handy. Characteristic up. So I mean, willpower is an obvious push, right? There's something to be said for ballistic skill too. But let's take willpower. And then she has some different stuff. Enemies damaged by the navigator suffer 10% additional damage from any source of warp damage, stacking up to 5 times. This feels not so important because, like, 10% is... It's just not going to be the difference between a hit and it's not going to change the number of hits it takes to kill things very often, because our warp damage attacks are still often one-shotting enemies, you know, like it'll matter sometimes, but I don't feel like it's going to matter very much. And nothing's going to survive long enough to accumulate multiple stacks. Every even turn, the navigator gains an additional action point. Every odd turn, the navigator gets 20 perception. That's like fine. Every enemy the navigator has in line of sight has dodge and hit chance reduced by 5. That seems extremely good and trivially easy to take advantage of. Navigator starts all turns with extra movement. First ally targeted by the navigator gains the same amount of additional movement points at the start of their next turn. So I wonder, how does this interact with Bring It Down? Because the person is granted an extra turn, and that turn normally has no movement points. But if Guide of Souls would generally give that person 3 movement, I think that that's a very powerful combination. But it might just give it to them at the start of their normal turn after the bring it down turn is over. I think I'm going to take this just because I'm curious how it does work. Okay. And then, unfortunately, because I believe it is the case...
Presence has flooded the astropath souls with myriad shades of horror. No, we should not tarry here.
I agree with you.
I woke up with a feeling of wonder, as if a field
But yeah,
of
unfortunately,
flowers was blossoming
it is the case that I cannot...
A child was saved from
Because she's in the party, I can't
1,000
talk to her.
heretics were burning alive, begging and sobbing and howling.
Okay, that's a lot of... Boy, this game sure is fond of its talking. It is very strange that I cannot choose to speak with her while she's in my party. I had to find her standing around acting as an NPC in order to have a conversation. And I don't reckon she'd be in my quarters, but... I mean, it sounds like somebody is. I am for sure hearing voices. The positions of the pieces on the board suggest this game of regicide was interrupted. The winner was never determined. That's cute, I guess. Alright, strange sculptures and stuff. It's all my, all my stuff. All the stuff that used to be someone else's that is now mine. How's my desk doing over here? The ticking of the clock is too quiet for its bulky size. Ah, the Shrine of Remembrance. This is probably some Kickstarter backers or something. What's in my vault? Okay, it's just a way to see the cargo list, I guess. What is the Lord Captain's Data Chronicle? Okay, the Lord Captain's Data Chronicle is just the thing that has the Valencia's ancestry records. It's just there's two text entries for the same object, which is a little weird. Okay, there is a big weird Xeno skull on my desk. I don't know why I would want that to be the case. Link your account. Okay, this is opening up a web browser. I wish, it's a weirdly common thing in video games these days. Every developer and publisher wants you to have an account with them, but it's like, I have a Steam account already, and that you just got to accept that being good enough. A cracked data slate. The final transactions with the Chartist are complete. The Fiery Reckon is now fully equipped. The object has been loaded aboard with its containment intact and placed in the fore bay to ensure maximum contact with the target. Coordinates sent and received by the bridge. Target's estimated time of arrival. Fiery Reckoning is crewed by a servitor hive. Chances of the ship returning are minimal. Well, now that's curious. Also here, an unfinished letter. His chagrin is irrelevant. Victor's mistake cost me too much. Years of work, tremendous resources, all wasted. He has failed at what he was supposed to be irreproachable at, uncovering spies. And this one was a senior officer. I'm not about to discard him. Conrad has served me for too long for his removal to go painlessly for the Protectorate. Besides, he is no fool. He could not have seriously expected to become the next in the von Valancius line when his skills and talents as Master of Whispers are so valuable. Let his disinheritance serve as a humiliating but instructive lesson from which he may yet learn. Well, I think he learned something, certainly. So, there's the door to the secret room that we know about because we were teleported into the secret room earlier. Nothing of interest in here at this point, though, right? Because we swept the place earlier. I can perform my ablutions with the help of the Master of Ablutions. You know, one thing you can say about this guy is he sure knows his ablutions. Nobody's ever been finer at them. It is so goofy that we are, like, as a culture, Western culture in general, and I know American culture in particular is responsible for a lot of this. Like, we're such fucking babies about any level of nudity at all. But the the amount of gore that we have seen and described in text so far in this game is so extreme, and it's only going to get worse, right? Like, Jesus. The soothing water caresses your senses, and your grateful muscles welcome the chance to rest. A pleasant languor spreads through your body as you allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation. Oh, hey, I can ask somebody from my retinue to come in here and talk to me. Which of them would you like me to summon, your ladyship? Argenta. Argenta wanted to talk to me, and I can't find her on the ship in any other way. Samhain, are you conditioning your body with water treatments? How commendable! Allow me to share some of the water exercises I learned at the Schola Progenium. Argenta does not wait for a reply, but immediately launches into a series of detailed instructions. I mean, maybe I want to do the exercises. A division of the ecclesiarchy responsible for the upbringing, education, and training of orphans, of those officers and nobles who have died in service of the Imperium. Okay, so I guess we learned something about her parentage. I can try to tell her to hold on, but no, I want to do the exercises. Argenta briskly explains how to stretch your muscles correctly. She makes you repeat each exercise multiple times, as she teaches you the best way to do bends and squats. Her eyes are alight with righteous fire, and her voice rings out with conviction. She shows the same dedication to completing each exercise as she does to destroying heretics. The sister is tireless. It is a challenge to keep up with her unrelenting pace, but you refuse to accept defeat. Your muscles are starting to ache by the time you finish the exercises, but your body feels invigorated. Now see, I don't like that there's an athletics test here, which we almost failed, by the way. There were three dialogue options, right? Two of them had a willpower test attached to them, and one of them had an athletics test attached to it, but it was hidden. And I really feel like it should either be, they should either all be hidden or all be visible. I don't know why only one of them was treated that way. It seems very strange. Argenta wipes the sweat from her brow with an air of satisfaction. Good work, Samhain. A healthy body is like a finely tuned bolter, a worthy instrument of his will, and also capable of firing out serious rockets. I will take my leave now. Rest and recover your... No, hold on! I thought you wanted to talk to me about something. Alright, I will finish my ablutions. This was truly an experience worthy of a rogue trader. It's a bath. I mean, I bathed so hard I leveled up, so I guess that's something. You ever have one of those? Alright, so did we learn any new... Did we gain any new options, I guess is a question. And if we had, how would those be noted? It doesn't look like there's a lot of new stuff here. Whenever an ally does the heroic act, they get temporary wounds. 10% of their maximum wounds plus 6 is going to be a pretty decent amount, actually. That's going to be like a full solid enemy hit in a lot of cases. The range of the officer's abilities is increased. I already have focus, but it is being offered. Am I allowed to take multiple ranks of this, or why is it even on the list? Whenever an officer targets an ally, they get +2 temporary wounds. Whenever you target somebody, their resolve is increased. That's kind of whatever. Officer's resolve is increased, also kind of whatever. Whenever an ally is affected by an officer's ability or talent that grants temporary wounds, they also get armor. That's a little bit more compelling, I think. Allies under the officer's affected the officer's abilities gain a bonus to their weapon skill equal to 8. Equal to my fellowship bonus +3. And will deal my fellowship bonus more damage on attacks of opportunity until the start of the next turn. I mean, the extra weapon skill is very cool. But of course, we do only have one person in the party right now who is likely to be employing their weapon skill. Maybe it would make more sense for my character to be also in melee, but like I wouldn't be targeted by this anyway. I'm just thinking about like the way our crew is balanced and on the whole. Still, I think Be Vigilant is not a bad idea. I don't have Air of Authority, so I can't deliver inspiring speeches. How good is this? Immediately grants momentum to the target equal to the target's resolve. Half of the bonus granted by voice of command remains until the end of combat. I mean, that is an interesting long-term buff. It's not a very large long-term buff, but it is something. When the officer makes an attack, they get +5 fellowship, so +1 to your fellowship bonus, which might affect some of your other things. And like, you are going to be making attacks. This is just free fellowship, but only during combat, obviously. Whenever you grant people action points, they also get +1 to all characteristics for every point gained until the end of combat. I mean, we don't have enough things that do that right now for that to be very compelling, in my opinion. I think I do. I think I do like. Where was it? Be Vigilant. I'm not even so worried about the bonus to attacks of opportunity damage, although obviously it'll be cool if you ever get one. But I just like being able to throw a buff out and have somebody be more likely to make contact with their weapon. And then you... So what is my ballistic skill right now? It's 35. But I kind of get to cheat with the Melta, right? Fellowship's quite high, but could be higher. Yeah, I'm gonna lean into the thing that I'm good at. Okay. I mean, it's a good bath, I guess. For some reason, that caused everybody else to level up, too. I guess the whole party probably gets XP at the same time. Like, when I gained 28 XP, it probably hit everyone. 14% more damage to enemies at full. It's okay. There are times when that's going to turn a nearly kill into a kill, but it's not awesome. Exposed weakness. Dropping enemies' toughness by 9 is meaningful. Ignoring enemies' deflection. We haven't seen it be terribly meaningful so far, but you can imagine a situation where it might be. It would be pretty cool for a cover to actually help her survive, especially because she is so powerful. It really makes a difference when she gets shotgunned in half on the first round of combat. And so, yeah, maybe we want that cover efficiency. I think I might just grab that, yeah. %7 armor penetration for anybody who's under the effect of that. I mean, we do have that one buff that we cast every turn, right? That's kind of interesting too. I'm gonna take Covert Protocol because I would love it if she would survive combat more effectively. And then I know we have some things that are scaling off of her intellect. Or intelligence. I don't remember what, but I remember thinking it was important. I'm just gonna grab some points in it. Alright, aren't I glad that we took a bath? So you have Endure, you have way fewer choices. Reckless Strike. The warrior's next melee attack gains big armor penetration and damage and ignores parry, some amount. Every enemy who survives an attack by this ability will attack the warrior in return. Okay. Warrior marks a target, gaining 20% armor and 6 damage on melee attacks against that target. The target attacks the warrior during this round. The warrior gains 1 AP. That seems like fine. The slash ability for with 1 charge. It's a little unfortunate for you to be using the word charges to refer to like resource points for a thing while also talking about an ability that's called charge in the same sentences. Like, so slash is dash through an enemy to a cell on the enemy's opposite side and make a melee attack with half damage. Does not provoke an attack of opportunity, but this is good for like letting you push through an enemy defender type units so that you put yourself adjacent to some of their ranged units. I can definitely see the value. Next melee attack pushes the enemy away. This ability cannot be used with a heavy rock saw. What a weirdly specific concern. Forceful Strike is interesting. I don't know how much stuff there is in this game to reward you for pushing enemies around, like how frequently it'll be the case that you can push people into hazards or off of ledges, or even if just like bouncing somebody off a wall deals damage, which it often does in like CRPGs. My inclination, I think, is either Forceful Strike or Breakthrough. Let's see if the definition of push helps us out at all. Should they collide with an obstacle or another creature, both the target that was pushed and the target they collide with will take damage equal to 2 times the distance the target should have traveled. This damage ignores armor but can be reduced through deflection or whatever. Okay, so it's never going to be a huge amount of damage. Most interesting is like pushing people into hazards or off of stuff. And it doesn't cause them to actually deal more damage. Breakthrough is interesting. I think we'll take Breakthrough. And then... give me a mouse over. Okay, your Athletics is 50. Your Carouse is nice and high. Coercion. I don't know who has the... okay, I guess the highest demolition skill must be on Argenta, right? Because she was the one disabling the traps. I'm going to take a point of athletics here. Small boost to athletics. Alright, so you get another talent immediately. Focus is good. I don't know if we need another copy of it. March. Whenever the officer uses an ability that grants movement points, the officer also gains half that number of movement points. That's kind of cool. Whenever an ally starts a turn adjacent to the officer, they get extra movement. That's also pretty cool. Whenever an ally in combat gains an extra turn, the navigator gains a stacking bonus to willpower until the end of combat. That's neat. Make your resistance test with willpower. Enemies affected by your stuff suffer penalties to resistance tests. If the navigator's perception is higher than their agility, their dodge is calculated using perception instead. I do feel like for something like this, the expanded tooltip should include the character's perception and agility. Because it's like, that's the only reason you would be looking at it. Her perception is considerably higher than her agility. I think I actually like that a lot. Let's take that. Pass unscathed. And then a boost to something. Let's take a little bit more ballistic skill too. Oh, if only I could ask you what it was that you wanted from this screen. So your ballistic skill is currently 50, and it's been sufficient to be producing like 90-95% hit chances against a lot of the things we've been seeing. This will give us some more initiative and dodge chance and stuff. I think let's take an agility bonus. And then an activated ability for you. Move fast. Do not provoke attacks of opportunity. Soldier gives a sign they're about to open fire. The soldier and their allies will automatically dodge that a soldier's next attack. Okay, every once in a while that's gonna come up and be important. Next ranged area attack deals double damage and has additional dodge reduction. That seems extremely powerful. I would say if our best weapon had an area attack, obviously this would be more compelling. Entrench. Spend all your AP and MP to gain a bonus to cover efficiency. The next time you use run and gun, you gain back all the spent AP and MP plus 1 additional, and it resets the cooldown of all your other abilities. That's fine, I guess. Soldier's next ranged burst will have its base rate of fire doubled, but deal less damage, and all the shots will follow random trajectories. Just fill the air with lead, and you don't have to aim. I think I like concentrated fire, and we're just gonna, keep an eye out for good area attack weapons. Rocket launchers and the like. There's no indication from her character sheet or anything like where she is, right? Current location, something like that. Doesn't seem like it. Okay, well, I guess I'm glad I took a bath. I'll tell you, it has been a super, super long time since I have been able to take a bath in real life. One thing about living in shitty, cheap apartments in America is the tubs. The bathtubs are all tiny, tiny, tiny. Definitely not designed for anything other than showers. The hell's the door? How did I get in here? I came in somewhere around over here, didn't I? This is the elevator. Yeah. You can forgive me, it just looks like a huge room unto itself. Alright. I have no idea where Argenta hangs out. It is possible... Okay, she was in a spot that I was just slightly too far away to see, I guess.
Rogue trader.
Sister Argenta looks tired. There are dark circles under her eyes. Her hair is somewhat disheveled, and she moves like she's a little on edge. You said you have a personal request for me.
I indeed have a request, Rogue Trader. The accursed servants of Chaos who assaulted this ship took the lives of your loyal crew members, and they orphaned many children, including the progeny of the brave officers who defended their posts until the bitter end. I don't know what customary practices there are for cases like this in Von Valancia's territory, but in the world I'm familiar with, the children of such brave souls could expect to receive some special consideration. Perhaps the rogue trader could meet with the orphans?
Ah, okay, and we know why this is important to her, thanks to our little bit of snooping in her backstory. Make arrangements for a meeting worthy of a rogue trader. I don't really know what this means. I'll meet with them, no formalities needed. These are the children of people who gave their lives for the dynasty. My consideration is the least they deserve. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Do you wish to fill these children's heads with the illusion that the world and its rulers care about them? I will say, like, the one place where I do kind of hesitate on this is that I don't really want it to be... I'm going to say this and it's going to sound harsh, but let me explain myself. I hesitate a little bit because the sacrifice is something that the parent did, not the child. And so it's weird. It's a little bit, I'm a little uncomfortable with giving the child special consideration because of something the parent did, in the sense that, like, the other children had no chance to receive such a, like, we should have a high standard of care and it should be equally doled out. Is I guess what I'm saying. The other thing, obviously, is that something like this is designed to compel the parents to behave this way in these situations. And I don't know that I necessarily think that we need everybody sacrificing themselves all the time. Like, I know this is how powers of structure or structures of power are maintained in the real world, you need to fool some number of people into being willing sacrifices, but I'm uncomfortable with it, I guess is what I'm saying. Our character would be less so, though, right? That's like the whole thing. Yeah, I'll meet with them. No formalities needed.
I will pass on your instructions. Thank you for taking my request to heart.
Okay, I'm glad we did that. I'm glad that we worked that out. It does feel like I understand only having things visible in a certain area around me, even in areas that are like lit up or whatever. But it feels like on the bridge of the ship, everything should be visible all the time, don't you think? There, if nowhere else. The motley group of adolescents do not take their eyes off you, gazing at you as if you were a creature straight from a fairy tale. Our indefatigable sister has been keeping an eye on these pups. Abelard glances at the gathered children. It is hardly the Scolopregenium in here, but we have provided the orphans on our ship with adequate care and instruction. Hey, I get that reference. Argenta is standing to the side of the group. At your approach, she perks up and announces, her voice ringing, "Brave ones, the master of this ship has appeared before you, the one who guides it through the darkness of the universe by the Emperor's will. Greet your Lord Captain, the rogue trader of House von Valancius." Now see, like, this seems like a thing there should be voice work for, and the exchange that we were having with her before on the bridge doesn't so much. Like, this is something that's really important to her. It seems kind of arbitrary what's voiced and what isn't. You notice Infernus Master Einrich Montag standing a few paces away from the orphans. He watches you with approval and bows respectfully when you meet his gaze. Are we talking to him? I guess we're talking to him. Hey, Infernus Master, do you serve as a teacher in your spare time? Oh, not at all, your ladyship. I'm just looking out for them. It's the Infernus way to help folks in trouble. It's our job, after all. So we chip in rations here and there and make sure nobody gives them a hard time. We take the older ones into the clan's care if they want. Many in the guild are not our family by blood, but by circumstance. Okay, I appreciate that. I do want to kind of take it easy on the I'm the rogue trader and I'm so impressive stuff. But I guess this is less fun for them if I'm not someone special addressing them. Maybe we don't mention their dead parents right away. Your Lord Captain greets you, brave ones. The teenagers keep staring at you. A girl who has remained close to Argenta smiles uncertainly. A skinny, pale lad tries to throw his shoulders back and stand at attention like a soldier. Only a few teenagers at the far end of the row seem sullen and not particularly impressed. One of the scowling visitors with a thin scar across his face tosses his head back and says bitterly, "So what? Why should we care? Our friends and parents died in their dozens for you noble lot, and you just give us speeches." Okay, I like you. You got moxie. Argenta quickly turns to the boy. A flurry of emotions flashes in her dark eyes, like she wants both to calm him and scold him for his impudence. Let's see here. I'm not allowed to actually answer the kid, which I think is terrible. I'm not gonna say punish the troublemaker because, like, he's right, and I think we can maintain this kind of, I'm on top organization without needing quite so much bullshit in the way. Like, yeah, that's the way it works, and that's what it is. But, I can take care of you and you can take care of us, and, like, there's a version of this that can work and it can be less shitty. And that's probably, like, the place she's trying to get to, right? Because she still wants to be a noble. She still wants the comforts of her life. I definitely don't think she's come all the way around to, like, being yeah, everybody's equals. That feels a mite unrealistic. For that to have happened so quickly from a single setback, no matter how large. But she's trying to find a way to do this where people can't so easily do to anyone what was done to her, basically. I think I'm going to address the Infernus Master. Since you're so concerned about the orphans, they are henceforth your clan. It falls to you to teach them the meaning of what their parents fought and died for. Thank you for your trust, Lord Captain. We won't waste it. The Inferni know all about taking pride in service, courage, and self-sacrifice. We'll make true heroes out of them for you. Heinrich beams at the orphans, and they smile back at him with enraptured devotion. Young ones, you won't recognize them in a year or two. They'll learn to salute and speak only when permitted by their superior officer. But right now, clowning around is all they know. Argenta rubs her temple pensively. She smiles and offers a few more words of encouragement, then leaves the bay. Yeah, Abelard's very into the system as it stands. He and I are working at cross purposes a little bit. Hopefully she feels like that went okay. I didn't yell at the children or say that that kid needed to be tortured, so I think that's better than they could possibly have expected. I want to see if we can check in with her about how she's feeling about that. Even in stillness, Sister Argenta radiates energy. With her dark eyes shining and a slight blush to her cheeks, she is reciting a prayer and looks at you only once she has spoken the final line. Okay. I guess we don't get to check in about that. I am curious, though, how did you end up on Theodora's ship?
I first came here when I found myself in need of passage from Footfall to a remote planet. But I imagine what interests you is not that first journey, but rather what brought me aboard prior to the cultist attack. That story is complicated. It just so happened that
She stops short.
I made a mistake. In a moment of laxity, I was ambushed by the accursed followers of the archenemy. I was badly wounded. Lady Theodora came to my aid and brought me aboard her ship, where crew attended to me in my weakened state. It all happened not too long ago. I had barely recovered from my wounds when the cultists struck. Truly, the servants of evil know no rest. There is no place where we can be safe from their machinations.
It's an interestingly vague answer. Where did this happen?
On one of the recently discovered planets in the Expanse. No one suspected that it had already been tainted by the filth of heresy. Had I known it beforehand, of course I would have been on my guard.
Uh-huh. And what happened to the people who wounded you? Did Theodora's men eliminate them?
Sadly, they did not. Lady Theodora was in a hurry and chose not to stay on the planet. Her people took me to a ship while I was unconscious, and when I came to my senses, we were already flying away. How I pray to come face to face with those heretics once more, and it's bound to happen someday.
Is it? Space is a big place. I mean, this almost feels silly to offer. Like, it's such a... If we're in the area, I guess, but like it would be such a huge devotion of resources. If we're not, if it's, something that's actually out of the way, and it's always dangerous to travel. I'm not going to say this, even though, from the sort of like very simple video game relationship model dating sim rules, this is the sort of thing you're supposed to say. Diegetically, I think it would be a little weird. I wonder if this comes across to me, this feels like a reprimand. I wonder if that's a good idea. I do want to maintain some kind of relationship with her, especially since she's a little bit leery of the choices that I've made in front of her. I don't have any more questions. Thank you.
As you wish.
So what is it then that's keeping you in my retinue?
The ship was targeted by heretics, which means that my presence here and the assistance I provide to you are my sacred duty. Sooner or later, I will likely have to return to Footfall to protect its reliquary. But for now, I wish to remain a part of the Rogue Trader's crew.
Okay. Well, I enjoy your company, Argenta. I hope that you remain in the crew and that this ship becomes your home. I definitely don't want to frame this as, like, having anything to do with my relationship to the Emperor. First of all, I don't think she's going to buy it. And then this other stuff is, you know, I would like to be on good terms with her.
Those are very courteous words, Rogue Trader. Thank you, both for your words and your hospitality.
Well, thank you for this conversation. Until next time, I'm being weirdly personable because I think it helps keep everybody off balance. All right, back to the map. Let's go to the place and do the things there. I still think I want very much to go to the astropathic station. Lord Captain, there is some commotion on the officer's deck. The Lady Navigator has left her quarters and is currently in the wardroom, where uninitiated crew members are shunning her in terror. Perhaps you ought to find out what has brought Cassia to the deck. Man, Cassia, listen, I don't want to lock you into the Navigator's deck, but, like, could you pretend that I have? Could you just, like... Wouldn't that make things easier for everybody?
Lord Captain, my apologies. I did not notice your entrance.
The Lady Navigator is engrossed in perusing the dusty tomes, which appear to have been neglected by the other officers, be it because of sloth or dullness of mind. When you walk closer, Cassia looks up at you, starts, and hides a weathered book behind her back. Oh, like I didn't see that. Again, we're going to treat her with kid gloves because I don't want her to freak out and explode everybody. I see you're fond of reading, indicating the book.
Oh, this. I found this fascinating read on one of the shelves, and I must say, it has caught my eye. Its every chapter is written in verse. I find it so beautiful and enrapturing.
Cassia carefully shows you the book, which turns out to be a collection of works by the Cadian naval commander and poet, Aelius Quent.
Urak 5 had a vast archive of its own, of course. Although most of the works within had to do with scholarly disciplines of some sort or another. Only in my sparse moments of respite was I allowed to escape into the pages of more embellished works.
Cassia gently brushes the dust off the cover with her thin, clawed hand, her eyes filled with longing after reminiscing about her lost home. Yeah. I do hope this, but I'm not sure if I want to put this way to her. Let's approach it more gently. The events that took place on Urak 5 must have shaken you greatly. Are you well?
One should not underestimate the navigators of House Orselio, Lord Captain. Like a shawl of pale smoke, a faint malaise hangs upon my shoulders, but it will not be the slightest hindrance to my duty to humanity, and my duty to you.
Cassia's response is reserved and pointedly decorous, clearly intended to create a distance between you. I can't help but notice that your only attendant is your valet from Urak 5. Do my servants not measure up to your standards? See, this is especially curious because it's only people from her house that she has the ability to kill by just looking at them, right? So, I would prefer maybe that she not be around him so much for his sake.
No, it is not that at all, Lord Captain. It is just that Uwe is quite capable of carrying out his duties by himself. He is well accustomed to my whims and preferences.
All right, well, if he can keep the storm quiet. Perception test succeeded. This looks like a fairly easy one. Cassia cringes ever so slightly, adjusts the adornment on her forehead, then awkwardly hides her clawed fingers in the folds of her clothes. The unnatural appearance of navigators often becomes the topic of gossip among lowly servants and officers alike. It is unsurprising, then, that Cassia prefers the company of one who is used to how she looks. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And then I have no choice but to say, I hope that you've had ample time to calm yourself and your powers.
There are people on this ship who are far more impulsive and dangerous to others.
Nope.
And far less devoted to the God Emperor than a herald of the Navis nobility. But I did not need your words to see the shades of umber unease that whirl around your subjects whenever I am near. Were I not acquainted with such a reaction, I could have found their behavior in your question just now insulting.
Yeah, no, it's a really stupidly phrased question that I should have known better than to say, for sure. Also, if that's Navis nobility, they really need to include the diacritical mark.
Lord Captain, would you kindly explain to me why you are pestering me with these questions? Inquiring about my mood and my needs, showing an interest in the books I am enjoying? You are behaving as if you possessed a shred of fellow feeling for one such as I.
I mean, listen, I got shreds for everybody.
I beg your pardon, Lord Captain. That was no way for a navigator to conduct herself.
Frightened by her own words, Cassia covers her mouth, pales, blushes, then pales again, and hides her face behind the cascade of her snow-white hair. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I understand. You got nothing to apologize for. Human emotions are natural, be they good or bad, and it is just as natural to share them with others. I do think you should try to keep yours, a little bit in the jar, but it's natural, I guess.
Please forgive me. I cannot even understand myself right now. Your words and attention have reminded me of life on the station, of Theobald and Felek. I do not understand. They were merely the keepers of Urak 5. So, why do memories of those two make me feel a strange heaviness here?
She places a hand on her breastplate. I'm going to be honest with you, Cassia, that sounds like indigestion.
At the same time, I find myself overwhelmed with new excitement and anticipation. At last, I have set foot outside my familiar walls, and into a world that I have only seen before in the pages of books. Your ship alone is a treasure trove of remarkable artifacts and curiosities. And just imagine the things that await beyond, but... My delight must seem childish to you, surely. In your heart, you must be finding all this quite amusing.
What I find childish is your manner of addressing me as if I were your friend. See, this is just being shitty for no reason, but in particular, feels very unfair to address her that way and then reprimand her for doing so in kind. I mean, I just got here and the whole place must seem pretty wild to me too, right? Like, it is very impressive. I mean, I understand what you're going through. My own life was turned upside down not too long ago.
Indeed. I did not know. That is to say, I could not have known, as it is the first time we are speaking in a circumstance so... private. My word, when I found this place, it was so full of officers. Why did they all leave?
Perhaps my people did not wish to disturb you.
Or because my presence offends them. Then I must take my leave as well. I am due to inspect the Sanctum Navis after the communion ritual and prepare the chamber for the upcoming warp jump. Thank you for your company.
The way this is worded, I suspect she says this no matter what you choose on that previous one, or at least also if you choose the one about them being idlers. So I think there was probably no way to avoid that. Alright, well that took a bunch of extra time. Hey look, it's a little model of the ship. Have we been in this room before? I don't know, but there's nothing here to interact with anyway. That took a bunch of extra time, and obviously I pretty slow rolled us starting to move the ship at all. So unfortunately, I think I'm going to end the episode here without us having reached even a single destination. This is just kind of going to be the pace of this, I think, based on the number of hours I have heard it takes to do a playthrough of this game. So I hope everybody's okay with that. When you come back next time, we're probably actually going to reach the place we were driving to. So that'll be fun. And we'll see you then.